All right, hello, beautiful people. Grab your coffees, come hang out, sit down at the coffee shop because I have a banger for you. Happy New Year's! But this is a follow up to a video I just did that hit the like goal on the coffee shop. My main channel is Jobbers and Goons. If you want to go check me out, but this video is going to be a breakdown and explanation of General Grievous. So I just did General Grievous 2-Lock Horde, and I said, yo, I really don't mind doing individual videos on them, just so people can see how they work in the verse and how strong they are. With that in mind, I put up a poll, hey, which character do y'all want to see first from the battle? 2-Lock or Grievous? I think a lot of people wanted to see Grievous because, one, obviously more name value, but two, Legends Grievous is an absolute monster, and he often gets disrespected by the canon people. So definitely going to show off what he brings to the table. I'm going to be breaking it down into what he was as a Kaleesh Warlord, how good he was pre-Sith Lord training, so this is when he was awakened as a cybernetic killer, and then finally his run as a Sith Warlord and General. If you guys love content like this, run the likes up. Let's try to hit 100 likes, and I'll be dropping 2-Lock Horde's video ASAP. But anyways, I'm also going to be using this channel for random lore dumps and lore videos I want to do, scaling videos that whenever I feel like talking about a verse, like let's say Star Wars, I'll just start recording and it'll be put on this channel. So look forward to a whole bunch of content in 2022. But anyways, getting into Grievous, right? What's he bring to the table? Let's start off with his roots. So going back to day one, Grievous earned his stripes as a Kaleesh Warlord. What does that mean? Basically, he grew up on a planet that was straight up warfare. This is one of the most hostile planets you could grow up on. And even at a young age, the people in his kind have to resort to violence and a very primitive war lifestyle. This was no exception for little Grievous, as he grew up a warlord, and a lot of times I feel like people sleep on how devastating he was in his time as just a typical Kaleesh. So he was noted as having hundreds, if not thousands, of bodies to his name personally. So in wars and battles throughout his planet, he's personally killed most likely in the thousands. So he already has one of the highest body counts of any character before Grievous even became the cybernetic killer. That's insane. But what made him devastating was his high IQ. He's often regarded as one of the smartest military strategists of his time, and he was a high IQ tactician on the battlefield when he was with the Kaleesh, often leading them in victory in their battles. In terms of his actual skill as a fighter, that's slept on too. Before he became Grievous, before he trained, he was a premier swordsman. He was actually one of the best swordsmen on his planet during his time, and his prowess with melee weapons was beyond exceptional. So there should be no surprise that he became one of the best duelists we've ever seen in the verse. In terms of how great of a fighter I would deem him in terms of that time period as a Kaleesh Warlord, I think Grievous was definitely a threat to like Jedi Knight tier characters. Like if you're a fresh Jedi Knight, he could pretty fairly run up on you and give you a really good fight, if not kill you. He'd be like a bounty hunter tier. And was a premier strategist and fighter, but still nothing compared to what he becomes. So let's get into the second phase, which was him with the enhancements. So, of course, a wartime incident left him horrifically scarred, basically a sack of a few organs, his brain's barely anything left. He gets taken, reconstructed with cybernetic enhancements, and this turns him into a devastating monster. I mean, I already told you how smart he was. I already told you how skilled he was as a fighter. I told you how fierce he was. All of this was basically amped to an infinite degree. Like, he got some of the best cybernetic enhancements in the galaxy, way faster than he had ever been before. Obviously has massive claws and limbs that are capable of one-shotting even Jedi. He has some of the best armor that can withstand blaster fire from starship fire. He also has mental enhancements and brain applications that allow him to think faster than almost any character we've seen. So he thinks way faster than his elite Magna Guards who think at light speed. Not even using the Force, not even using precog, light speed reaction, bare minimum, right? Like, that's literally how fast they think. Not even consider, when I say how fast they think, like, literally normal thought, you know. Obviously, when you're moving as fast as you can, you're moving faster than you normally do. Their casual is like light speed, right? And he could easily spar multiple elite Magna Guards that are faster than regular Magna Guards. The point of this is, he was an absolute physical freak when he was brought back. Probably one of the most physically capable Sith or Jedi we've ever seen. Probably the most devastating melee pound for pound strength fighter we have seen in terms of how hard they hit. Another thing that's very interesting, I kind of mentioned it in my prior Grievous battle video, is the fact that the reason he was so freakishly gifted might very well be attributed to some of the Force, because the blood used to transfuse with him, keep him alive and make him powerful, was the blood of a deceased Jedi Master, Master Deus. So definitely think that could indicate potential for him having a little bit of the Force in him. But regardless, his physicality was taken to the extreme, as well as his mental warfare. And before he had any training with the Sith, he was actually dispatched as just his new destructive cybernetic form. With this new body construct, his new enhanced mind, he had to be tested out, as well as his rage was completely amped to basically constantly be in a state of willing to fade everybody. Like, that's what makes him so brutal of a combatant, and so terrifying to his opposition. Dropped down in order to test out his destructive capabilities with just literally his new form, Grievous pulled off a feat that most Sith have never even done before. And keep in mind, this is prior to him having any Sith training. Grievous, with just his claws, his strength, and his ruthlessness, ran through scores of Jedi, as well as entire platoons of clone troopers. What makes this so crazy is, keep in mind, renowned Jedi, like Jedi Master Ki-Adi-Mundi, who even trained Anakin for some time, they were capable of being brought down by just some groups of stormtroopers, right? Just, not stormtroopers, clone troopers. Well, Grievous tore through hundreds of them by himself, if not thousands. Not to mention numerous Jedi. That is an absurd feat. Think about, like, we'll lowball it. 300 clone troopers and between half a dozen to a dozen Jedi. Probably more than a dozen, but we'll lowball a dozen. A dozen Jedi versus Darth Maul. He's got to fight all of them at the same time, run through all of them casually. Oh, he doesn't get a lightsaber, right? Grievous only had his claws and his bad intentions, and he completely decimated them. Starting off one of the most brutal campaigns we've ever seen in Star Wars history in terms of someone with body counts. So, just with this form, him having his rage amp, his mental amps, his physical amps, he's Jedi Knight Plus to Fringe Jedi Master tier. Like, you can argue unarmed, even like fresh off the boat, Grievous was a threat to some Jedi Masters. It's crazy. It's statistically most likely he killed a Master with his claws during that rookie campaign. So, there you have it. I hope you guys understand what I mean by this point. Like, smash the like button. That he's so underrated in Legends, because even raw, no weapon form is arguably Jedi Master tier. Proceeding into actually trained Grievous, we see that he obviously, his main trainer was Count Dooku. Count Dooku was confirmed to train Grievous in all 7 classic forms of lightsaber combat. With these, Grievous obviously took them to damn near master level for each one. In fact, what makes it so crazy is his basic Magna Guards know all 7 and are stated to be fluid and can cycle through all 7 lightsaber styles. They're basically Jedi battle masters, all right? Like, they have the kind of knowledge and capabilities of battle masters in terms of dueling. Then you have elite Magna Guards, and then you have Grievous, who regularly shits on elite Magna Guards. So, like, as you can see, there's skill levels. Dooku in the Labyrinth of Evil actually stated that when he trains Grievous, he holds back from a few tricks just in case. Those were his words, just in case, because of how talented and dangerous Grievous is as a duelist. In terms of actual dueling feats and battle feats, obviously, even without really needing blades, and I think it was before blades, ran through Asajj Ventress and Dirge, who can 1v1 comfortably with Clone Wars Kenobi. And with dueling, he took down dozens to hundreds of Jedi. He defeated who was considered, I think, it was Jedi Master Foam or something. I don't know. It was a very basic name. But he was actually regarded as one of the most skilled of his time in all of the Jedi Masters, which is pretty impressive because it was stated during the Clone Wars era that those Jedi were some of the most talented duelists to ever exist. And in that era, this guy casually got bopped on by Grievous. Grievous would go on to have perhaps one of his most notable duels with Mace Windu. Mace Windu actually had the inherent advantage here, given they were on a moving platform, which caused Grievous to be hampered because he had to use like magnetism in his feet to hold on and fight, and Mace was fluid in motion because of the Force, so he had an advantage. Still, Grievous was able to match him, and Mace said those were the strongest strikes he'd experienced, anything like that. Keep in mind, he's been struck and hit by Carvastor. Now, while not technically dueling, just physically dealing with Carvastor, whose raw power was scaled above Yoda, Dooku, Mace himself, even child Anakin's potential. That was stated by Mace, by the way, in Shatterpoint. If you want to see a Carvastor video, comment down below. He's a monster. But anyways, Mace experienced all that. Said Grievous hit by far the hardest and probably fastest. And he realized Grievous, just in their first flurry, was starting to roughly imitate Vapad. He realized if this Grievous gets away and takes Vapad with him in terms of learning it, mastering it, and implementing it, basically all the Jedi are dead. He's going to run through everybody and kill them all. So Mace got him out of there with the Force. Obviously, this leads to the infamous cough and hampering of Grievous. Leads to some of the trash in the canon series. But yeah, in terms of dueling, he was an absolute monster. I mean, Dooku in Legends was worried about Grievous as a duelist. He outright worried Mace because Mace realized if he got away, he would slaughter every Jedi. And stylistically, Mace assessed Kenobi as being probably the only one suited to fight him. Now, that doesn't mean Grievous can't lose to like Yoda or Mace. They can fold him with the Force. And they're also very talented duelists. But Obi-Wan's defensive style is what made him so gifted. And his flow state. His ability to go so much faster than other Jedi because of his ability to flow through the Force. And this is why he was able to beat Grievous. Now, something else I want to talk about with Grievous is the fact that he was oftentimes suppressed. Not many people know this. So, it was revealed in the Revenge of the Sith novel that the pace he was putting on Kenobi, which is the pace he always fights with, it was 20% of his true speed he started going in the end. Even his 20% was starting to overwhelm Kenobi, force him into flow state. This idea that Grievous was trolling everybody in the Clone Wars at 20% is horrifying, because obviously that has a lot of scaling implications. And then, you know, through flow state and his perfect Sarisu form, and the fact that he didn't have to worry about the Force, like a lot of people can beat Kenobi, and the way they'll do it is because Sarisu is a focus on the blade. The focus on the blade takes away from your Force walls, your inherent Force defenses, so people can overwhelm you with the Force. For example, Dooku was excellent at exploiting this, and would, while Kenobi was focused on the dueling, would get him with the Force, right? He did it in the movie, and did it several times in Legends. This is different with Grievous because Grievous doesn't use Force attacks. So he can't use that against Kenobi. So Kenobi's going all out flow state with the Force. And that's why he was really able to, in the end, beat Grievous. But still, Grievous, even hampered with his physical disability, was a monster matchup for Obi-Wan Kenobi. So, looking at his feats, the fact that he was so psychologically gifted, he knew how to prey upon the minds of the Jedi and intimidate them to weaken their abilities to use the Force. This was taught to him mostly through Dooku. All these things made General Grievous one of the scariest Star Wars Jedi killers we've ever seen in history. So, how good of a duelist was he really? How strong was he at the end of the day? Personally, I think it takes, if we're talking prime Legends Grievous, I think it takes the top tier of his time to beat him. I'm talking Dooku, Kenobi, maybe Anakin, but Anakin still has a hard time because of stylistically. Yoda, Sidious, like, besides that, it's you're down on your luck you run into the boy Grievous because of his ability to learn your style if you do bring something to the table, implement your style instantly. He knows all 7 forms, is fluid in all 7 forms, and a lot of his moves are unpredictable because of his cybernetic ways, the fact that he's launching moves at you that are robotic in nature. They're not real, like they're not normal like you would see from a real duelist. So his movements are weird, sporadic, unpredictable on top of his actual technical training. All of this accompanies Grievous to being one of the most devastating characters of his era. And we really got robbed in canon of seeing the GOAT, General Grievous. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think of him. I think he's one of the top duelists to ever be in Star Wars. Great case for top 10 all time. And I might redo my ranking of duelists. Let me know, or I might tier list duelists, strictly dueling. Let me know in the comment section down below if you want me to see, if you want to see a duelist tier list. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been your boy Jobbers and Goons. This is the coffee shop. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you love Grievous, smash the like button, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.